Welcome, everybody, to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I am telling you this: if I can do it, so can you? And I want to open up this podcast with a quote from the great book by Gary Keller, The One Thing. And on page 81, he says this, and I love this because this is going to introduce my guest on the podcast here today perfectly. All right. To achieve an extraordinary result, you must choose what matters most and give it all the time it demands. This requires getting extremely out of balance in relation to all other work issues. What he's talking about here is doing income producing activities, and to really give us to shine some light on that and give us a beautiful, crystal clear example of really focusing on income producing activities. I have a young man here that before he was legal to drink alcohol, before he was 21 years old, closed $102,000 in wholesale assignment fees. It is my pleasure to introduce, out of Houston, Texas, Mr. Doug Aguilar. Doug, say hello to everybody.
Hey everybody. Yep, I'm out of Houston. Big thank you to Brent Daniels.
Well, listen, let's get right into this. I mean, you're 2 years out of high school. You're looking at the opportunities that are kind of coming your way. Did you always know that you wanted to be a real estate investor?
No, I knew I didn't really know anything about real estate at all. I mean, nobody in my family is in real estate. So out of high school, I started doing was I was good at making furniture. So I was good at construction. I don't know why, but I always kind of liked doing construction. And so there was a wood shop class in my high school, and so I just started. That's the first time I started doing any construction. And then out of high school, I started selling furniture, custom made furniture. I did that for a couple months, and then I ended up meeting some guy out north from where I live, and I started doing some construction on his properties that he had. But I heard about wholesaling in that period of time. That's my first thing I ever heard about real estate. And just wholesaling off the YouTube
it was
video.
was this guy like a fix and flipper?
No. I was just over there working on his properties, and just basically my girlfriend found out about wholesaling from a YouTuber and told me about it. And the guy never told me anything about it. I just found it out off YouTube, and I just started watching videos, and no coachings or anything, just straight off of YouTube.
I love it. So what was the first? So you're watching YouTube, right? You're getting some education, you're getting some entertainment, you're getting, hopefully, most importantly, some instruction. What was the first thing that you did? Do you remember? Can you go back and just be like, okay, this is, my first action as a real estate entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't that long ago. So I really just started. I was watching a bunch of different YouTube channels, and so I was trying everything: cold calling, door knocking, sending out letters, or like putting letters in people's mailboxes. So I was doing everything, but I mean, nothing was really working because I was just all over the place. I didn't really know what I was doing. So that's pretty much how it started. And then just one time, it was pretty much luck. In like October of 2019 is when I got my first deal. I was working at the time. I was doing construction. I was still over there doing construction, so I couldn't do any wholesaling or anything like that. But I heard about wholesaling from YouTube, and I just wanted to do it. I didn't think it was real, but I wanted to try. So I just had my girlfriend make a few calls, and she ended up finding somebody just within a few days. And that was my first deal. Like 2 weeks later, it closed. That was in like late October of
Come
2019.
on, man. So wait a second. Your girlfriend just picks up the phone. Is she hand dialing? She's just pushing numbers on her phone and pressing send. I mean,
Yeah.
pressing call, and she reaches a motivated seller.
Yeah. I mean, the seller wasn't really even motivated. I made like $1,000 off the deal, but yeah, because I wanted to make calls, but I couldn't since I was up there working, and I was basically working for free rent. So I was living there rent free. I was getting paid like basically I probably made like 6K that whole year, like the entire year working, but I was living for free, and so I was working around like 24 hours, so I
So
couldn't
what,
do anything.
like swinging a hammer?
Yeah, it was doing construction on homes. Um, yeah, he had a property with a couple homes on it, and I was doing construction on it, and that's yeah, just nothing but construction work. And so I had no time to do calls or anything. So I just told her to make a few calls and see what happens. And I
It worked
got
out.
lucky.
It worked out. Well, how incredible. Listen, that's how it starts. And
Yeah.
whatever. You made $1,000, but it was real. It was
Yeah.
super real
Yeah.
that you made $1,000, and it all came from just being proactive, all just stemming from one quality conversation with that seller. So you said that she wasn't motivated. What does that mean? Like she wasn't
She,
motivated, why did she sell the property?
she wanted a particular number. And I spoke to a guy who had it under contract previously. He has a big company over here. Um, and he said he offered like 60,000 and she would not move off her number. And it was the same number that I got her under contract on, and I just said, maybe I'll find a buyer.
And you did.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, I was able to find a guy, and and then yeah, that's the biggest thing for me though is that I mean $1,000 to me back then was like 100K,
Oh
and I didn't
yeah.
even have a car at the time, so I couldn't do anything. I didn't even have a car, so I used that $1,000. I got a car, um, and I got prop stream, and I wanted to keep making calls, but I couldn't since I was still working. So I left from there in January, and then I was able to get another deal that I closed in February, or yeah, February.
Awesome. So, real quick, so your girlfriend calls, she
Yeah.
finds somebody that is willing to have a conversation with her. They're having a good conversation. Does she turn it over to you? And
Yeah,
then all of
yeah,
a sudden you're talking to her and you're doing a lead follow-up, and with your, deep voice, she doesn't know that you're 20 years old or whatever else, and you're
yeah,
having these conversations, and you go on the appointment?
yeah. So I mean, it's a long story.
Somebody
Like,
drove you there?
yeah, my dad had to take me there because I had nothing. So I had no car. I wanted to make calls. I couldn't. My girlfriend, she's not good at calls, but I just asked her to do it. She got lucky like in a few days, and she just as soon as the lady told her she wanted to sell, I just called her back later the same day and just told her, yeah, I'll do it under at 75. Then I had my dad drive me over to her. He drove like an hour to pick me up and then take me there, and so I just had her sign it, and that's pretty much it. And then I just
Were you
started.
were you were you shaking? Were you
Oh
nervous? I
yeah,
mean,
oh yeah.
you're 20 years old. You've
I was
got
19 at the time.
19 years old. You got paperwork to buy this gal's house, and your dad just drove you to the appointment, but you got it done.
Yeah, I was really nervous. Um, oh yeah, I was shaking, I was sweating. So I just tried to talk with her as we are going through the contract.
So what do? Do you swallow all those emotions down as you're walking to the door, and you're just like, okay, think of a time that you were confident. Think of a time that you were cool. Just slow it down. Like what's going through your head as you're leaving your dad's door, the car door, and going to her front door?
Yeah, I mean I was just hoping that she'd take me seriously. And when I met her and shook her hand, she was like 70 something, She's like, you're the 13-year-old buying my house. Oh gosh. And then I said, yeah, I mean, so I was just hoping she'd take me seriously up to that point. So I was just talking with her.
Incredible. That's
Um,
incredible. I love it. But listen, you did it. I think if it was me at 19 years old, I know without a doubt I would have never gone. I would have been too scared. I would have been like, oh my gosh, something bad's gonna happen. I'm gonna get rejected. I don't have enough confidence. I don't have enough certainty. I don't know if she's gonna like me, whatever else. And you just win. I mean, you have something inside of you that has that confidence, that supreme confidence that you are going to be successful. And I think a lot of people listening and watching this, if you're just listening, make sure you check it out on Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. But people listening and watching this have that inside them as well, that they know that they're going to win. Just give me a shot. Just give me a shot. Just give me a shot. Give me a shot. This is your shot. Now, you didn't make $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, but you made $1,000.
yeah.
And now you're rolling. And then,
Yeah.
30, 45, 60 days later, you close your second one, and now you're rolling. And then you come see me in the TTP, and then we really poured some gasoline on this thing, right? So keep us going. So your second deal closed in the beginning of 2020, while right before the world started kind of going wild.
Yeah.
And through this whole time, through this situation, through everything, we've got political things going on, we've got health things going on, we've got media things going on. You're staying focused, like we're talking about in the One Thing book here. You're staying focused on income producing activities. And so what do you do? What do you do? Did you jump into this full time? Did you still keep doing part time? Like, break that down for us.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's such a long story, but so after I got that deal in October, I was still working. But that deal, even though it was $1,000, like I was able to buy a car with the deal because at the time I only had like another $1,000 in my bank. So, I mean, the big thing for me is just that it was real, that it's possible, right? It's not a scam or nothing like that. So I wanted to leave where I was as soon as possible. So I left in January, and I didn't have any place to live. Um, I was living somewhere. I was living in a storage unit basically.
What?
And so I was looking. I just went into a full time, and I didn't live with my parents. I didn't want to move back because I didn't want to be comfortable because I wanted to be able to get another deal as soon as possible. So I ended up getting another one, and that one closed in February off of PropStream. I took that $1,000, I put into PropStream, pulled one list, it came back, and I closed a deal February 16th. It's for like $16K.
Woo! That's a big jump. By the way, guys, if you are wondering, if you haven't, when Doug is referring to PropStream, you can check that out at ttpdata.com. ttpdata.com. That's the resource. Check it out. It's a phenomenal resource. If you're serious about this business, Doug had $1,000 to his name and he invested in this. I would do the same. I would sell whatever, my blood or whatever. I don't know if people would buy my blood, but I would sell blood to be able to buy it. Seriously, it's that big of a tool. ttpdata.com. Check that out. But so you've got the list, and you make 16,000 on your second one.
Yes, 16K, and with that money, I was able to find a place to live.
So wait a second, you're living in a storage unit and your car?
Yeah.
Like you're talking like out, no air conditioning, storage unit in Houston, Texas in
it was winter,
spring. Huh?
It was winter at the time, so it was pretty cold. That's how I was able to survive. But I mean, it basically because I didn't want to be comfortable. Because I didn't want to go live with my parents or something and be comfortable knowing that I'm taken care of, blah blah blah.
So are you making calls from a storage unit? Are you making calls from like a coffee shop? Are you making calls from your car? Like, how are you finding opportunities?
Yeah, I was making some calls. I mean, this list I would say I got pretty lucky on it too. I mean, I called. It was a small list. It was a pre-foreclosure. I called a couple people. She was really motivated. Nobody's ever called her, and I met her the next day. And yeah, it's just after that, I wasn't making any more calls. I couldn't. So I just waited till I got a house. Um, and I just started going from there full time. I just dove right into it.
So I bet when that deal closed, you're like, okay, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Time to
exactly.
get a place, time to get settled, time to get, into the rhythm. Because
Yeah,
up until then, I mean, it's a lot easier to be consistent in your real estate business if you live in a place that has air conditioning
yeah,
and heat and amenities and everything else, right? I mean, it's just
yeah,
is you've got a lot of other distractions and things on your mind. You're fresh out of high school, you're living in a storage unit, and you get this $16,000 deal. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. So wow. I mean, woo. I mean, everybody listening and watching, this is what I'm talking about. This is, literally just being proactive, picking up this thing here, this phone right here. This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your opportunity. This is your ability to change your financial future if you just pick it up and you talk to people. That's what it comes down to, and that's what Doug did. He did it with his first two. He gets out of the storage unit, gets into a house, and now let's break down a deal. Now you said that you recently got a house.
yeah. It's more of just a piece of land.
You got a piece of land for free.
Yeah, there's a mobile home on it. I have to demo it, but it's not livable. So it's got utilities, all city utilities.
So
So
how does somebody get a free piece of property?
well, I mean, I stopped pulling lists and I started just driving for dollars.
Okay. Are
And
you
it started,
using an app?
yeah, Deal Machine.
Deal
When
Machine.
I have your code actually before I even joined
Yeah,
TTP.
Deal Machine. If you want the biggest discount, we have a great relationship with Deal Machine. They love the Rhino Tribe. Use TTP and you get it for $40 a month. It's incredible. So use TTP for Deal Machine. They really work with us a lot. So you start driving for dollars.
Yeah, I started driving for dollars this last like quarter of the month, and it just started exploding. And so that was just one of the deals that I was able to get. So it was just a vacant property. I mean, it was so vacant because he just forgot.
So step us through this, just for anybody that is just coming into this and they really haven't like lived the life. So you download Deal Machine. It's an app on your phone, right? Now you're
Yeah,
in your $1,000 car, right? And or whatever, and you're
yeah.
driving around. And what are you looking for?
Well, looking for the worst houses, vacant, clearly vacant houses. That's the biggest thing.
And what
That's
happens when you find them?
just skip trace them.
Well, you have
Call.
to. So you add them to your app.
Yeah, add them. Take a picture. Take a picture. Make sure you know what house it is, because you have to find that owner by any means necessary. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I started doing.
Awesome. And so you skip trace them. What'd you use to skip trace?
Batch.
Skiptracing.com. Definitely check that out, Batch. So you've got your list of driving for dollars. You got the phone numbers. You're just driving around looking for the ugliest properties that you can. You're adding them to the app, and then you call them.
Yep, and that's how I got
A
this.
very complicated business, isn't it, Doug?
No, I mean, I've spoken to teenagers doing it. I mean, like still in high school.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You
So
just have to keep looking for the deals. That's the
that's
only
right.
hard.
So you called, and what did the owner say?
He said he doesn't own that property anymore. I said, yeah, you do. You're still on the county records. And he's like, he's 80. He's like 80 years old. And he's like, is that why he was getting like condemned letters that they're going to condemn the house and all this stuff? He's like, is that why I'm getting all these letters? And I said, yeah, you still own it. He would thought he sold it to a friend like a decade ago, because he signed a deed and gave it to the friend, and the friend paid him, but the friend never filed the deed. And so he kept telling me he wasn't going to sell it to me unless he spoke to the friend. So I had to skip trace the friend, and I just brought them like back together, like they were like lifelong friends. And so I got them in touch. They were like super happy to be talking to each other, and then they both agreed that they'll give me the property, and that's it. There was a family member paying the taxes on it that didn't want the property, so the taxes were all kept up. I only paid like $600 to bring the taxes current. So
And now you have a piece of land?
yeah, and I'm already getting offers on it for like 45, 50K. But I think I'm gonna just keep it as a rental property. But man, those offers are tempting.
They are. So what do you mean a rental property? It's got a beat up old mobile home on it.
Well, yeah, my plan was to demolish it and then because it's three different lots. It's three separate lots.
Okay.
And I was planning on putting maybe 2 or 3 mobile homes on it and renting them out because they rent over here for like $1,200 a month.
Well, I'm going to ring this victory bell for all three of those. For your first $1,000 deal, right? That got you a little bit of room to buy a storage unit so that you could live out of it until you close your $16,000 deal. And now, truly, I mean, you're staring right in the face of something that's $40,000 or $50,000 if you want, or you've got a turnkey. I mean, you'll invest some, but you're going to get a rental on there, and it's a free property. You got a $40,000 to $50,000 free property. Brother, you're 21 years old right now. Oh my God, hold on a second. Are you kidding me? I mean, people are like, this can't be real. This can't be real. He was living in a storage unit. Now he's got, he's 6 figures, and he's this young, and his dad's driving him to his first appointments. Listen, everybody out there that's listening and watching this is real life. This happens, right? If you are focusing on income producing activities, if you're having quality conversations with distressed property owners, if you are acting like Doug and matching up and solving the problems of distressed property owners, you brought together old 80-year-old friends, and they're like, "Oh, thanks, bro. Let me give you this title real quick." Listen. Our income is based on the amount of value we provide to our community. That is the absolute fact. It's a law. It's in there. It is what it is. So, I mean, it's an incredible story, Doug. Do you ever look at it and you're like, this is bananas?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought that I was ever going to get into real estate. I just thought I was going to be working. I just knew I didn't want to go to college. I like getting my hands dirty. I like getting in, doing stuff. So my family's never in real estate, no real estate experience except for YouTube. And yeah, just off of a YouTube video.
It's incredible. When did you join TTP? May?
It was in July.
July.
Yeah. I closed 3 deals prior to joining, so I had some money. And you're the main guy I watched, so I decided that was the only course I've ever joined in my life. That's probably the only one I'm gonna join, except for maybe creative financing with patient.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, I'm happy to have you in the TTP family. I mean, just a shining example of what you can do if you just follow a plan. If you just stay consistent, that's all it is. It's a plan. It's already out there. It's already set up. Just be consistent. You have to do all the hard work, but the map is out there. The guide and the map is out there. So I love it. So Doug, talk to me now as you're digesting all of this success that you're having. What's the big goal? What do you want to do? Do you want to be the developer? Do you want to be the guy that owns a big portfolio of properties? Do you want to be a lender at some point? You want to fix and flip properties? Like, what do you think in the next 5-10 years that looks like?
Well, I expect to have a pretty large portfolio of rental properties because that's how you create your early retirement. And so that's my big plan. I mean, I'm sure I'd probably do a couple quick flips like hotels, but for the most part, I want a big rental portfolio.
So How many?
I have no
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I know you have a number in mind. How many doors?
I don't know. Maybe in the next 5 years. I don't know. Maybe maybe 50.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think you'll probably be double that, man, with your work ethic and your focus. So, absolutely bananas. I am so excited for you. How do people get a hold of you? How do people reach out to you and show you some love? Or maybe they want to connect with you, joint venture with you in the Houston area. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of joint ventures. Y'all can. I only have Facebook. I don't have anything else. I'm not a big social media guy.
Sure.
But that's pretty much it.
How do they find you? Just your name?
Yeah, Douglas Aguilar. Just look it up on Facebook.
Aguilar, everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look for him. He's in Texas. He's in the Texas area, or Texas area. Geez,
Houston, yeah.
The Houston area. Oh man. Can you imagine if Texas was an area? Texas is like its own country. Anyway, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I applaud you. It's just, man, I hear these things and I literally like my heart starts beating up faster when you're telling me that you're living in a storage unit and then boom, all of a sudden 16,000 and then boom, getting a free property that's worth 40 to 50,000. Like it energizes me, man. I think you're energized everybody on this podcast today that's either watching or listening. So thank you for being on here. Do you have any advice for anybody starting out?
And you just watch Brent's YouTube. I mean, he pretty much describes the easiest way to do it is to just drive for dollars. I actually stopped pulling lists and started just driving for dollars, and that's how it just exploded. I mean, I already closed like 20K just today.
Just today. No big deal. Over lunch, whatever.
But I mean, it just all driving for dollars.
Incredible. Well, thank you for being on here, brother. Everybody out there listening, if you are interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family, the TTP program. Definitely check it out if you have any interest at wholesalinginc.com/TTP. That's wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Scroll down, check out what it's about. Check out all the testimonials. Keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Your mouse is going to burn up because there's so many success stories in there that I'm very proud of. I truly am, because I have incredible people in this group, and I'd love to work with you if it feels good in your gut. Sign up for a call. And that's it. Doug, thank you for being on here with us. Thank you for giving us so much energy and juice today and good vibes. And everybody out there, I love you, and I encourage you, as always, to go out there and talk to people. Until next time, see ya.